Hey guys, welcome back to Starcastic Remarks. My name is Ryan, alongside Chris here and James here. Why are you giving me a weird look? Anyways, welcome to the official Dallas Stars podcast of THPN. Sorry, we're tired. Dallas Stars do win by a final score of 2-1 tonight over the Carolina Hurricanes, and now I see why they're laughing. Anyways, you guys, what did y'all think of the game? Initial thoughts?
Did that hockey?
Yeah. Dallas comes up with the win tonight, especially after the last 4 games, and they were 0-2 in their last 4, with 2 of those being in regulation, unfortunately. And they somehow pull out the win tonight, but in a little bit of a different way. They get the defense done tonight more than anything.
Yeah, that's exactly what we said after the Ottawa game, that we need to find a way to win this game, kind of no matter what. And the offense still wasn't humming the way we like it to, but the defense played well. We held a team that normally gets 40 shots pretty consistently every night to under 25. Yeah, 22 shots on goal. So well played defensively, especially from some guys that we complain about a lot. So it was a pretty good game overall, I feel like, especially defensively. Still would like to get some more offense going, but we got the 2 points, which was the one mandatory thing tonight. Now we can figure out the rest of our game, hopefully.
Yeah, and the really frustrating thing about this whole last 5 games now is, like, 4 of the 5 games were great games. I mean, they were. And then you have that one just bad apple at the end of the 4-game losing streak with Ottawa that just makes all of the other ones feel just awful.
It does. And to give Ottawa some credit, I did read from a bunch of different writers that was the best game they had played all season, was against the Dallas Stars. So obviously give them credit, but for Dallas, I just hate to see a loss like that.
Yeah,
I really hate. But
love the game tonight. I mean,
exactly.
The fight against especially the Canes, who are playing very hard on the forecheck, doing exactly what we know that they do, especially when they play the Stars. The Stars matched it pretty well, I felt like, tonight. They matched the energy, at least. Maybe not the exact same kind of scoring chances, but the energy was definitely matched there, and that's great from a team who's really banged up.
And really what it was, I thought, they were forechecking us and they were getting the puck from it, but they weren't getting it in the defensive zone. We were still getting out to the neutral zone before they were able to possess the puck.
I don't want to say we didn't succeed tonight, because obviously we did. We won the game. But the forecheck of the Carolina Hurricanes still gave us issues tonight. I felt like for a good chunk of the game, we won more puck battles. That was my biggest thing that I absolutely loved about this game, is the fact that we won more puck battles, and we were actually able to get out of our own zone more often tonight than at least the last 2 games, at the very least, maybe the last 3. But that was something that I was really looking forward to. And for some reason, we seem to have Carolina's number, because we sweep the season series with Carolina this year. And it's not like Kochetkov played bad, and we had 2 good chances. We took care of business when we had them. So we were very opportunistic on our chances. And Carolina just could not get the puck through the defense of the Dallas Stars. And the block shots were impeccable tonight, and I love seeing that from them.
Yep, plugging up the slot is the number one thing we got to do against this team. And they tried to get a lot of shots from the outside, and they still got most of their shots from outside the slot, but they got a lot of block shots, and they didn't get a lot of good chances in tight unless it was on a breakaway. So, yeah, real good play on the cycle by the defense.
Yeah, the one goal against is a breakaway goal for their best player.
Exactly, and that's the one player you don't want to give a breakaway to. Yeah. So let's talk about the obvious thing first off. What every Stars fan who is more knowledgeable than the casual Stars fan, and the fact that Logan makes his debut tonight in the NHL. His family is there in attendance in Carolina. I think he played at 15 and a half minutes tonight, so it's not like he played sheltered minutes tonight. He played a good, solid middle 6 role for the Stars tonight. He played alongside Johnston and Ben, which with Johnston and him together, they looked excellent. I think he had 3 shots tonight, led the Stars in that statistical category. And it was he did not?
No, Lindell did.
He was beat by Lindell.
Lindell had 4 shots on goal.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Other than that,
forwards.
At least
Fair?
Yes.
Forwards. He leads forwards with shots on goal tonight. That's weird. Sorry, I can't
We only
get
had
over that.
16 shots on goal too. Linda.
Had-
Four.
Yeah, he had 25% of the Stars shots tonight. That's weird. That's just so odd. Anyways, what did y'all think of Logan Stankoven's play here tonight?
He played really well. 2 of his 3 shots were grade A scoring chances right in front of the net. He had the one on the 2-on-1 with Johnson, and then he had the one where he kind of took it himself early in the game and got a good wrist shot off. So I thought he played really great. The problem is it's going to take a lot for him to force himself to stay in this lineup. I mean, Delandria is still playing well. And that's the spot he's really gunning for right now, is to take it from Delandria. Delandria's playing good. He's solid defensively. He plays on the penalty kill. That's something that Stankoven, I don't think, is actually going to end up doing, really, is the penalty kill. So he's going to have to not just play well and look good. He's going to have to put up points and force his way into the lineup, and is the big thing.
And he really tried to tonight. I mean, he had multiple grade A chances and even one grade A taken away from him on the night. I mean, him and Johnston were all over the ice together.
Yeah, and that line especially looked good. I mentioned to y'all, I'm glad that they put them together, because that's kind of the spot that Stankoven's trying to play for, is the one that Dodonov left because of his injury. So I'm glad that they put that together instead of him trying to play Sagan's role on the Duchesne line. I like that they put Deli up there, kind of rewarding him for how he's played, but more so to put Stankoven where he would actually be if he does come up in the lineup permanently.
So let's go ahead and talk about the elephant in the room. He gets his first game out of the way. Is he gonna stay in the lineup? Do you think Sagan is hurt enough where it's gonna be multiple games and Logan is gonna be making his way back to Dallas and make his home debut for the Dallas Stars?
The only way Stankoven stays is if Sagan is actually injured. I think if Sagan is good to go next game, Stankoven's going back to Texas. So yeah, we'll see. I have no idea what even happened to Sagan. I didn't even see what play he got injured on, so we'll see.
Hey, I'm just guessing it's something that he's just been nursing over the last couple of weeks. That would be my guess, just kind of like Duchesne. Duchesne's nursing something he's been dealing with all season. With Sagan, though, the thing that kind of worried me was the fact that he returned to Dallas to get checked out. If it was something that they could, be able to diagnose immediately and know exactly what it is, they'd be able to do it right then and there on the road trip, right? But the fact he went back to Dallas shows a little bit of concern for me, because he's been really good for the Stars this year. He really has. He's obviously he's not going to be worth the $13 million that he's getting or whatever, his cap hit at 9.8 or whatever, but he has definitely been much better than the last couple of seasons. Yeah. So that could be a huge hit for the Stars if he's out for a decent period of time.
This injury bug's got to give up on us soon, I feel like.
Yeah. Well, it seems like we've been really good the last 2 years, the last 2 seasons, and not being super injured with multiple players. And then all of a sudden it just hits us all at the same time.
I mean, it's been a rough season, too. I mean, we've had Otter hurt for portions of this year. We've had Heiskanen hurt for portions of this year. So we've been hit pretty hard by it, I feel like.
Well, moving off from that, Stankoven played great tonight, and I really hope he makes his home debut in the next game for the Stars. The D court was excellent tonight. That's something that I think we need to kind of mention, in the fact Suter was huge. He was absolutely enormous tonight. And it's just like, why can't you just play like this all the time? Please.
Yeah. Suter and Lindell both of them played extremely well tonight. They both finished tonight with 24 minutes time on ice. That's 1 and 2 on the team, is both of them. Heiskanen doesn't even eclipse them tonight. So they played great defensively. They were breaking the Canes forecheck relatively well, and when they did give it away, they weren't giving it away in too dangerous of places. They were able to recover from it. So yeah, I thought they played great, especially at the end of the game. Those guys were great. That Lindell play to the first one, the smart one, to not touch the puck after he saw that it got high sticked. And then the tie-up at the end of the period, too, was just awesome. He knew he was going to take a beating from as many Canes players as could get to him. And he took the beating, but he finished the game in the corner. So him and Suter played especially well tonight, and we need him to right now, because our other defensemen, Pouliot and Hanley, played almost nothing. Pouliot played 9:56. Hanley played 11:27. So we need those guys to step up, and they have.
And Lindell definitely was the biggest for us down there late in the game. But I felt like Suter was better overall throughout the entirety of the game. I mean, he ends the game with team high 6 block shots, and that is your oldest defenseman doing that, which is not something that you really see. And especially he just made a lot of smart plays, turning around, coming back, knowing he has to be back, and a lot of hustle actually from him tonight, which is kind of weird to say, but you could tell he was skating to every play extremely fast.
And, this is the kind of game that players like Lindell, like Hockenpah, if he was in the lineup, like Suter, could really relish him. This is something that they play really well against, is these more heavy, high forward checking games like a Carolina or a Vegas, or I would even put Florida in that category. I actually watched one of their games this week, and dude, they can forecheck very similar to Carolina. But so moving forward, that's nice to know that we've got that ability of guys like that. And like you said, I didn't know this. They led time on ice for all defensemen tonight.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because they were good, and the situation that they were put in against a team they like to play against worked out.
I think generally those guys actually suck at breaking the forecheck, which is why I especially mentioned it tonight, because generally they're not great at it, but they did a good job tonight. Because I've used the Canes as a example of why Suter, Lindell, Hockenpah might not be the defenseman you want to go with consistently. But I mean, they proved me wrong tonight. Suter, Lindell was great. I mean, they played really well.
The time on ice is especially shocking when you factor in that the Stars had 4 power plays in this game.
Yeah.
So really, Miro, even with being played less tonight, probably should have had more time on ice, but he didn't, just because of how well Lindell and Suter were playing.
Okay, perfect segue into that, because that was another thing I wanted to talk about. The power play was
terrible,
not very good tonight.
Bad.
And the thing I kept saying, y'all heard me say it at least 2 times when we were watching the game, was just do something off the rush. I mean, because obviously what they were trying to do was get set up in the zone, and it was just not working. I mean, it was very obviously not working. So, I mean, you get 4 power plays in the game, and I understand Carolina is one of the best penalty killing teams in the NHL. I think they're third at like 82%. That's ridiculous. That's incredibly high. But in a game like this, when you're more, I don't want to say you're leaning on your back foot, but you're definitely focusing on the defensive aspect of the game against a team who, heavily forechecks like that, you got to be a little bit better with your chances on those power plays. So over 4 tonight, I just wish we could have seen some execution on the power play tonight.
And really what it is you have to score these power play goals in these 1-goal games. I mean, we've had every game so far except for the Panthers one, or no, sorry, the Ottawa one in the past 5 have been 1-goal games, and just 1 power play goal, and it flips the other way. I mean, you just have to execute on it when it's needed.
Yeah, you got to give a little bit of credit tonight to the Carolina penalty kill, because it was fantastic. I mean,
yes, they're very good. They're, again, one of the best penalty killing units in the league.
Yeah, one of the best penalty killing units, and had a good night. You got to find a way to get some kind of momentum, or at least shots on goal on the power play, though. We couldn't get anything. Yeah. So,
one player I did want to mention tonight who looked like a man possessed was Jason Robertson, especially the first 2 periods. That guy looked incredibly hungry. Gets one of the goals tonight. It was definitely needed. And he seemed hungry. He was going after pucks deep into the zone. He was making robo plays.
Yeah.
He was a dominant player, and it was I dropped my phone, sorry. He was making dominant plays like throughout especially the first 2 periods. Not so much the third period, because we were kind of protecting the lead, but still excellent game by Robo tonight.
Yeah, and really what is kind of iconic for him, which you don't really think of it this way, but him scoring as he's falling down. He tends to do that a lot, and that's how he scored the goal tonight. I mean, there's so many times when you think back to some of his biggest goals, it's him shooting it as he's falling down. I mean, his hat trick one against the Jets years back in overtime, same way. He's falling over and shoots it into an empty net. I mean, it's funny how often that happens.
Yep. Another thing I wanted to discuss with you guys is just and I gotta be careful with the words that I use here. It felt that Carolina was getting away with a lot of stuff. It's either they were getting away with a lot of stuff or they know exactly where that line was of what is a penalty and what wasn't a penalty. It felt like there were numerous things tonight, and I know the crowd started chanting "Ref, you suck" for something, but
It's only once throughout the game, which for a game where your team took 2 more penalties than the other, that's pretty good.
but I thought it was well deserved.
It definitely was.
Like for Carolina to get double the amount of penalties for the stars. I thought it was well deserved.
Yeah, but part of the issue with why there were even more that weren't called is that we didn't score on any other power plays. You score on those power plays, it makes them think twice about it. But it looked pathetic, honestly. So like, why not take the chance?
And the Stars aren't going to be barking at the officials for power plays whenever we get on the power play, and it looks that bad too. So we're not going to be in their ear trying to get more calls.
And the one where I really lost my mind, and I actually kind of surprised myself a little bit, was when Stankoven got cross-checked in the slot.
No,
And it was
full 20 mode.
Dude, I was like, I could not believe they did not make the call on that. And I know it wasn't like the worst cross-check in the world, but the puck was right there. He had an opportunity to shoot it, and Orlov, I know it wasn't like a huge cross-check, but still, that is a penalty, and they didn't call it, and they knew they didn't call it. And you know what they did?
Yeah.
Hartley takes a late hit, and who do they get? Dmitry Orlov, right? Like literally 15 seconds later.
That was for sure get back call too, because refs look the other way on that stuff all the time. So that was a good
Especially tonight, they were looking the other way on him specifically doing that multiple times.
Yeah, but I also think the Canes really are just good at kind of dancing that line, and this is this is the style they play. They play this hard and aggressive night in, night out, and you got to kind of be on that line of.
And that's why they're always hurt in the playoffs.
That is why they're always hurt in the playoffs, because they play this hard, and all of them play this hard. Like Seabass, all of them. They all play this hard, too. And they do get injured in the playoffs, but they've been successful the last 4 years too because of this play style too. So
except they make it to the conference finals and get swept.
They're out of gas
every single time. Except 06 when they won the Stanley Cup. That was about it. Yeah, that was a while ago. Okay. Anything else? I figured we'd take a couple comments. No. Okay. All right. This one from Brooke. Good news. The last part of the season is one of the easier schedules in the league. It's going to be easier soon, and we can tinker with lines and lineups. That is interesting. Although the first thought that comes into my head is, playing easier competition going into the playoffs, that could hurt us and it could also help us. It could hurt us in the fact that we're not playing against some of the top teams, so we're not ramping up our game getting into the playoffs. But it could also help us in the fact that, yes, that Brooke is right, and we're able to kind of tinker with the lineups and figure some stuff out and really make sure that we're fully ready for round one.
Yeah, we still got about one more week of some tough hockey, though. We got Islanders, then Colorado back-to-back, and then we got the Jets to finish off the month of February. So we're still not quite there yet, but yes, I am looking forward to the month of March. Go look at that schedule if you haven't already, because it is soft. And I kind of disagree with you, Ryan. I think that's great. We're good at beating up on bad teams. That's kind of when we look our best, is when we're playing lesser opponents and we can just kind of pound on them. So I think that's what you look forward to. But you need to show up in these big games too. At the end here, you got Canucks and then Edmonton and then Colorado, all spaced out a week apart. I think those are great little benchmarks in the middle of all that weaker schedule to see actually where you are. But you just got to show up for them is the big thing. And the Stars are good at making those big headline games where there's a bunch of talking points and turning them into poo-poo. Yeah. So but they need to show up for those. They need to play good on those games specifically. And they need to rack in these points and reel in this division. The division is ours for the taking right now. Even if you have a bad end of this month with this tough 3 games in 4 days, it's still your division. So there's no reason to lose the division this year, especially because of that schedule. Like tough February, but your March and April is, you got to dominate.
Mm-hmm. And really, the big games for the rest of the month is against the Avalanche and the Jets. Those are you lose both of those, you can lose the division very easily.
Yep. Because that lets both of them catch up to you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Ardo with a comment over here. We can't win much longer with the current decor. No offense to Pouliot, who I thought was okay tonight. I thought he played okay.
He played no minutes.
Like I said, he played okay.
Yeah.
Dallas got 2 goals and turtled like a mug, and it worked. Not a long-term strategy, though. We need NHL more quality D-men.
Yeah.
And then chat went off. So we'll talk about that in a second. But yes, that's pretty much what we did. We turtled tonight.
Yeah. And really it was 2 individual defensemen that saved us. It was definitely Lindell and Suter that saved the game for us. Even Miro looked a little shaky in his defensive zone at points tonight as well.
And 100% correct that that's not a long-term strategy. But when you're on a 4-game losing streak, you find a way to get 2 points, and they did. You got to give credit for that. So, but yeah, this defensive core obviously is struggling, especially when you don't have any right-handed defensemen. And
That's just the craziest thing ever.
And I'm sure the Stars are getting ready to spend some assets to pick something up. I mean,
they'll pick up a 7th defenseman that's right-handed, right?
Yeah.
That's honestly anything.
It feels like mandatory, especially now when we've got those injuries.
Yeah, but a little bit more depth with all the injuries that we have out. 2 things. I can't believe we've gotten this far without talking about him, but Ottinger. It felt like he was quiet tonight, but he made, what was it, guys? How many saves?
20 saves.
20 saves, which it doesn't seem like a lot, but he still made some good quality saves. He wasn't overtaxed tonight, and maybe it just felt like he was quiet because of how the Stars played in front of him tonight. They played really good team defense, but he was good. He was good tonight.
Really, where that kind of comes off on is normally we have one period where the Stars just look awful and the other team gets like 15, 16 shots, and the most shots in a period that we gave up was 10, and that was in the second. The third period, there were 4 shots on goal.
Yeah. So I didn't have a tough job tonight, but he did his job well, and sometimes those can be rough whenever you go a long period of time without having a shot on goal. The third period, they didn't get a shot on goal until the 12th, the 12-minute mark of the third period. So, yeah, he did his job. He didn't do anything exceptional, but he did exactly what we needed him to, and the Stars defense made sure there wasn't too many grade A chances.
The one thing I thought he did really well, and I wrote this down in my notes tonight, was his rebound control, which we've kind of talked about sometimes about him not doing very well on. It was very good tonight. I mean, it was normally 1 shot and done. There wasn't normally a second rebound chance that he had to make. And if there was one, again, the Dallas team defense was there to kind of mop up the rest of the mess.
Yeah, and it wasn't just eating up pucks either. It was when it was on his blocker side, it was punching him, not just letting him hit the blocker, but punching him to the boards or to the point. Same thing with the pads. He was able to kick stuff out hard, and he did good swallowing pucks and getting them out of harm's way.
Yep, getting it out of the high danger areas, especially. Correct. Okay, one last thing, because I can't believe he said this. And of course, I told y'all are not really looking at the chat much, but they went off. Of course, the discussion was about a right-handed defenseman and that we need a jerk, right? So, Ardell, I'm sorry. I would be fine if Dallas traded for Matt Dumba. There, I
too.
I understand Stars fans. I can't even think of the right word. Hatred. No, it's even worse than that because of what he did. But disdain that they have for this player. But I mean, he is a jerk. He is exactly somebody you need. He was the only problem is I don't see him as a top 4 defenseman. And that's really what I think the Stars need right now. They need somebody who has a right-handed shot who can play in the top 4 and just on the second pair.
Kind of the whole thing right now, though, is if you can keep Lindell Suter together and it's working, and then you have like you have Dumba and Lundqvist as a bottom pairing.
Hakanpää is their 7th defense.
I don't know. I don't know who's going to be ready faster. That's really what it comes down to. But it can be very scary to have Matt Dumba on your team in the playoffs, and we know that from experience.
Yep.
So that it is awful. But if you look at the market and who is available right now, there is not that much out there. And he is not going to cost that much because he's not like huge.
He's not playing all that
No.
great for Arizona either.
And it unfortunately fits.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
I don't want Matt Dumba, and I'll tell you why. I hate him.
That's it. But like, what if you're a Stars fan? That's exactly what everyone's saying, right?
Yeah,
Like, there's no logic to it other than what he did.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah, I hate him.
And maybe it's the whole Minnesota thing. I think that's the main thing.
Yeah, he played for Minnesota, and I hate those guys.
Yes, like
Plays for the
with, like,
Coyotes, and I like this.
I never thought I would hate Minnesota more than the Nashville Predators, but I don't hate the Nashville Predators as much as I do the Minnesota Wild at this point, February 24th, 2024. I don't. But there's more we can talk about with that. But one name that I thought of was Radko Gudas. Yes.
Heard that one thrown around too.
Yep.
The problem is those are both bad hockey players.
But Gudas is not a bad hockey player. He's nowhere near as bad as Matt.
But would you rather have either of those guys or Puglia?
Yeah. Okay, let's be honest. There you go. Chris is like, okay, fine. Okay, wrap it up. Biggest winner, biggest loser.
Biggest winner, I'll give mine Wyatt Johnston, the game winner. He's been the most consistent for the Stars the past 5 games through this really rough section, and he seems to find a way to make his own space. And right now he is on that third line, and he is making his own space. And with Stankoven on there too, it helped. It helped a lot. Yeah, you could tell they had multiple 2-on-1 rushes.
Yeah, I was trying to keep my expectations low on Wyatt Johnson. He vastly exceeds them. I mean, he's taken a huge step in his second season. There's no sophomore slump to be found.
And both him and Robo pull into 19 goals, which has us 2 goals off of 5 20-goal scorers.
That's insane.
I'll give mine to Mason Marchment. We're talking about needing a little bit of grit, and Marchment showed a bunch of grit tonight. A bunch of big hits, took a puck to the face, came back out 3 minutes later with some tampons shoved up his nose. So that was awesome. That's a hockey player right there.
I'll go with Robo for tonight for the biggest winner. He's the biggest winner, especially in the first 2 periods. Without his goal, Stars don't win. Just like with Wyatt Johnston, and he got it started off for the Stars today. So, and we've been kind of critical of that top line. Top line was, I don't want to say was immensely better, but they were better tonight.
They scored a goal,
and he was one,
and they only did that 3 times in the last 12 games.
Yes. So, okay, biggest losers for the evening.
My biggest loser is Mason Marchment. He got hit in the face with a puck and came back with tampons in his nose.
James?
I kind of want to give mine to Miro. It's hard to because he has 2 assists, and they felt like nothing assists. The one play on Johnston's shot that he scored was a good play on his blue line, but he had a couple of really uncharacteristic just like misses, especially on Aho. Like, it seemed like he got outplayed by Aho all night long, and Carolina just didn't have anyone else to follow up with him, luckily.
Mm-hmm. I don't want to say he was bad, but he did get beat on a couple of plays.
That's why I'm giving it to him, because he didn't play bad, but
he didn't play Miro.
Yeah, he wasn't Miro.
he wasn't the expectation of Miro that we normally get. So, and I don't want to say he's had an off season, but it's been a little off for him. But he's still been very good.
Well,
he's still been a very good number 1 D.
Compared to his expectation, it's kind of way off. I mean, he was talking a big game before the season too about saying, "I want to win the Norris Trophy."
The first game we saw it. I mean, he had 6 shots on goal in the first game. Should have scored 3 goals.
Yeah, but I mean, and he wants to have those expectations too, those high expectations. But this is kind of what comes with it. I mean, you have an off game, like you said. He's 2 assists tonight, and we're calling him biggest loser because he missed a couple plays on one of the best forwards in the league. But you put those expectations out there, that's kind of what's going to happen. But he's good enough to live up to it, though, is the other reason why we keep those expectations on him, because he's good enough to be the best defenseman. We just haven't seen it quite yet.
I'm going to give mine to Dmitry Orlov. Screw that guy.
Yeah, he was kind of intense all night long.
Yeah, it takes 2 penalties. And especially that knee on knee
That was scary.
thing that he did on Hintz, I was just like, I swear, if you hurt Hintz, I'm gonna be really hacked off. So thank goodness he was able to come back. Everything looked okay for Hintz, but Dmitry Orlov was public enemy number one for me tonight with those 2 stupid penalties, and then the one that wasn't called, the cross check on our rookie. So okay, anything else?
No.
I'm tired. I'm ready to go to bed. All right, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. There's been a bunch of you who are insane. It's 11:30. Go to bed. There's even more of you that are listening later. We appreciate you guys for doing so. As always, go and check out sarcasticremarks.com for all the latest info on our podcast. It's the first place you can find our episode anywhere. And we thank you guys for always supporting us. If you'd like to support us further, go and check out sarcasticremarksshop.com. And that's the best way to support us, by buying some of our merch there. Alongside nobody, because they literally ditched me off screen. My name is Ryan. We'll catch you guys on the flip side. Hope you guys have a good, fantastic morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you guys are listening. Chris, do us a favor. Go ahead and take us out for the evening.
More like hurricane. GG, boys.